Hello everybody. In this video we will try to understand some more interesting things about Dhanishta Nakshatra, and most of the interesting things we discussed in the previous video as well. And to add some more, Dhanishta energy is of course very famous for music and dance. Our ancient Vedic seers saw this particular nakshatra as an active nakshatra. See, even infants born under a strong influence of this particular nakshatra are more active than other infants, if you observe carefully. And even they start to respond to music from a much earlier age than others. So, this is a nakshatra meant for getting out in the world and doing things. And it belongs to a farmer caste basically. So, in the previous video, we said this particular nakshatra is a wealthy nakshatra. It's all about worldly achievements. And in this video, we segregated this into a farmer caste nakshatra. So, this relates to the fact that this particular nakshatra falls in Saturn's sign, a planet which was, of course, seen as belonging to the working class basically. And Dhanishta is involved in all farmer like creative activities which deal with actual production of goods. So that's where it is treated as a farmer caste nakshatra. And if you try to see this particular nakshatra in terms of gender, it is treated as a female nakshatra. And again, you may think its sign lord is Saturn and its nakshatra lord is Mars. The moment you see Mars, that too zenith of Mars here, because it's the third Martian nakshatra, you may think why it is a female nakshatra. See, this is because this nakshatra relates more to the energies of its deities rather than the actual deities themselves. So the energies of these deities are basically the Shaktis, right? The Ashtavasu Shaktis, the Ashtavasu energies, they're all feminine in nature basically. So it is a feminine force which presides over all creative arts like music and dancing. And Dhanishta is very much connected to music and dancing as we discussed in our previous videos. And see, all male dancers of the classical forms are quite feminine in their appearance and disposition, if you observe. So this dance, the art of music, this is all feminine in nature. So Dhanishta is a female nakshatra basically. And the body parts, it relates to the most are the back and the anus. The spinal cord, as we know, is directly related to the planet Saturn and the sign Capricorn. Even in Ayurveda, if somebody goes to an Ayurvedic doctor with some spinal cord problem, the Ayurvedic doctor wants to understand the severity of the spinal cord problem, then he may want to check the Capricorn energy if there is a significant planet sitting in Capricorn and how it is behaving. And also he checks the position of Saturn, if Saturn is debilitated or if it is uncomfortable somewhere. That's where the spinal cord problem is coming into the picture. So the Kundalini energy also rises from the area around the anus and travels upwards through the back to the top chakra on the head. So when you talk about Dhanishta Nakshatra, you talk about the back and anus, that particular area, the whole area. So this is the only way for human beings to tune into the universal mind. And Dhanishta is, as we discussed in our previous video, Dhanishta is completely into tuning into some source, tuning into the universal energy, tuning into the universal mind, the rhythm basically. So this area plays a very major role for Dhanishta energy people. And also it is a Pitta Nakshatra, that is a fiery nakshatra due to its strong relation with Mars. And the directions associated with this nakshatra are east, southeast, south, west, and southwest. Southeast is generally called as the Agneya, and southwest is called as Vayuvya. Southwest is actually called as Nairuti. It's not Vayuvya basically. So southwest is Nairuti part, whereas the southeast is Agneya. So basically it is covering the east part and then the southeast part, and then it is going to the south, and then it is going to the southwest and west. That whole area it is covering, if you observe. From east to west, the whole area, in between the south also, east, south and west, the corners of it. Right? And the first pada of this nakshatra ranges from 23 degree 20 minutes of Capricorn to 26 degree 40 minutes of Capricorn, and it falls in Leo Navamsha because of this area, 23 degree 20 minutes to 26 degree 40 minutes of Capricorn is going into Leo Navamsha. So of course Leo Navamsha is ruled by Sun. So whenever a planet is placed in Dhanishta Nakshatra first pada, it automatically goes to the sign of Leo in your Navamsha chakra. So this particular area is mainly related to the ambitious part of this particular nakshatra. Ambitions, that is Dhanishta 1. Dhanishta first pada people, they are very much into this ambitions, ambitious in nature they are generally. I saw so many people with Dhanishta 1, the Dhanishta first pada energy, they are into this ambitions. Whether they're working, it is different, it's whether it is acting in the mental level or spiritual level or in the material level. But most of the times it acts in the material level only for Dhanishta energy people. They are mainly ambitious in nature. So it combines the energies of Sun, Mars and Saturn, if you observe. Sun because of the Navamsha, Mars because of the Nakshatra, Saturn because of the sign. So amalgamation of Sun, Mars and Saturn, so it directs the native towards worldly accomplishments. Because see, Sun, as we know, is not a favorable planet for marriage. So this pada is not good for marital harmony. So it can also be too aggressive. So this particular pada assures easy success in one's undertakings, one's actions, and often brings the native under its influence into some kind of limelight as well. The problem is related to marriage. Dhanishta first pada. Other than marriage, they're good, very very ambitious. They're needed for society as well. This kind of people, right? Because they're very much ambitious. They can get success in their undertakings. How beautiful if they are having, if they are, because this Dhanishta people, they can get tuned into the universal source, and generally the universal source um, try to send them in a very very good path, means to manifest the material world. So they can manifest the material world, right? And with that material world that they manifest, how many people would live in the society? Just imagine. And other than marriage, it's good, right? But let us say, if you find some person, Dhanishta first person, let us say, is not married and he's working hard, he is very ambitious, then how many people would live because of him? So that's a nice pada basically. And see, the second pada of this particular nakshatra ranges from 26 degree 40 minutes of Capricorn to 30 degrees of Capricorn, falling in Virgo Navamsha, ruled by Mercury. So whenever a planet is present in Dhanishta nakshatra second pada in your Rashi chart, that particular planet goes to Virgo Navamsha, Virgo sign in your Navamsha chakra. So here the energies of Saturn, Mars and Mercury are amalgamated. So as Mercury's energy is coming into the picture, it is going to make the native very skillful and communicative. And this is a highly adaptable pada, because Mercury is very famous for adaptability, right? Flexibility. So it is a very good adaptable pada, which often gives a lot of success in one's chosen pursuits. However, once again, Mercury's ability is not good for marital harmony again for Dhanishta too. So the rulership of Mercury gives this pada good mind-hand coordination that promotes musical and athletic skills as well, and even in software industry, typing and all the stuff, right? They can type a lot, and Dhanishta people can easily, can tune into the source, and can also make them a very good natives with a lot of material accomplishments. That is fine, good enough, but again, marital harmony is not so good associated with this pada. So Dhanishta second pada, if let us say if seventh lord is directly sitting in Dhanishta second pada, it's not going to promote the marital harmony much, right? Not so satisfactory, you can say. Only for marital harmony I'm saying. For remaining, it's very good. It's very good, right? Communicative, skillful, highly adaptable, flexible, so can get a lot of success. It's all good. The coordination, mind-hand coordination is excellent. In Dhanishta 2, Dhanishta 2, this one is very famous for mind-hand coordination, right? If somebody is playing music with fingers, very nicely, suddenly we feel this Dhanishta 2 energy there, right? Of course, that person would be playing because of some other planetary position as well, because maybe some good planet in the Hasta Nakshatra or Chitra energy. There are other things like third house lord in Chitra. Maybe so many combinations, but Dhanishta 2 definitely can give a very good mind-hand coordination, I want to tell you, right? The third pada or quarter of this particular nakshatra ranges from 0 degrees of Aquarius to 3 degree 20 minutes of Aquarius, and it falls in Libra Navamsha, ruled by Venus. So whenever a planet is present in Dhanishta Nakshatra, third pada in the Rashi Chakra, that planet goes to Libra sign in the Navamsha Chakra. So this relates to the happy, social, musical, optimistic, amicable. These are all energies of Venus. Also wealthy, right? So Dhanishta three people, I saw so many wealthy people because of with some second lord as well. Uh, of course, the second lord should be very good, and also we need to check the 12th lord energies, 11th lord energies. But fundamentally, Dhanishta 3 is wealthy, it gives wealth, right? It allows the money flow and the wealth flow, everything. So Venus is the natural significator of harmony, basically. So this particular pada promotes marital harmony, and this is the pada which carries the most refined and subtle attributes of this particular nakshatra, and it relates to those involved in music, fine arts, astrology, because Venus is famous for astrology as well, right? Dhanishta 3 is good. Basically, it is a good pada. You cannot say much negative about Dhanishta 3 generally, you know. If, let us say, I'm saying Dhanishta 3 is a very good pada, and you may find somebody um, suffering with Dhanishta 3 energy. It may not be because of Dhanishta 3 energy, it would be because of other planetary positions. We need to check them. It may be because of the Dasha Anta Dashas also. You need to check them. But Dhanishta 3 is basically good, except Sun is not so comfortable here, right? Because the moment Sun is present in Dhanishta 3 in the Navamsha, it will go to Libra. And in Libra, Sun is not so comfortable. Maybe you may find that one planet not so comfortable, but still uh, you can say Sun is also good in Dhanishta 3, because Dhanishta 3 is a good pada. That kind of repetition this pada has, basically, because the moment you say Dhanishta, people talk about beauty, dancing, music, the kind of grace that these Dhanishta people have, the kind of grace you feel when you see them, is all people talk about all this. But that's a very physical thing. But when you see the energy of it, the rhythm, the grace, and the kind of tuning it has with the universal, uh, that beautiful universal energy, that is also mesmerizing, right? And the fourth pada of this particular nakshatra ranges from 3 degree 20 minutes of Aquarius to 6 degree 40 minutes of Aquarius, and it falls in Scorpio Navamsha, ruled by Mars. So whenever a planet is present in Dhanishta nakshatra fourth pada, that planet automatically goes to Scorpio sign in the Navamsha chakra. Mars is coming into the picture here. So Mars, Saturn. One Mars because of the Navamsha, another Mars because of the Nakshatra ruler, and Saturn because of the sign rulership. So this pada has excessive Martian energy and relates to the rhythmical aspect of this Nakshatra, rhythm. The passionate rhythm, Dhanishta 4 has, is a kind of, it's a kind of uh, exceptional energy, you can say. So it is helpful in creative arts requiring a lot of energy, like you take drumming, you take playing some instrument with a lot of energy, as Mars is pumping lot and lot of energy for this Dhanishta 4 natives, and this pada is sympathetic to the underdog. However, this pada is not good for marital harmony, again due to its excessive aggressiveness. The energy pumping is a kind of, it's a kind of notable thing here. Dhanishta 4 people, aggressiveness, the kind of aggressiveness they have is a kind of, it's very very notable thing. It's a kind of warrior's attitude, you know. Better they become athletes. Why to show the why to show their all this what you say, the aggressiveness on the people surrounding them. Better they show this aggressiveness on some sport or some athletics kind of, right? That is the best thing for them. Why to lose respect by showing your anger on the people around you? Better you focus on some sports and athletic things, or focus on some drumming, or you know, use that energy, utilize that energy. So Dhanishta 3 is the only pada in the whole Dhanishta energy that can give some success in marriage. Remaining padas, I don't see they would be very very comfortable with marital harmony. And if you see the professions associated with this nakshatra, first one is musician, then dancer, as we discussed in the first video itself. Musicians and dancers, whatever energy, the grace, the kind of, you know, the rhythm that they show, that is all the musicians and dancers only. Dhanishta, when you talk about Dhanishta, you talk about music, you talk about dance. That's it. So even you can, by the energies, you can talk about music and dance. Whenever you're talking about this Dhanishta, you can talk about this music and dance for arts also. This Dhanishta is all about these two only. And all those involved in the management side of the entertainment industry, drummers, and those involved in the rhythm sections of bands and orchestrations and orchestras, creative artists of all types, and those involved in military bands and other types of marching bands, and gemstones and precious metal dealers. See, if you analyze more and more charts, you would see a lot of athletes also in this Dhanishta area. Right? Because athletes also need that energy as well as that rhythm. Even sports and athletes, the group coordination, it's all about coordination. The kind of coordination you see, you know, that's very rhythmic coordination. That is all this, that requires this Martian energy, inbuilt Martian energy. These nakshatras, the Mars nakshatras, right? They are really into this one. This even Chitra also, I found so many Chitra people, the kind of grace they need, that the kind of the grace I am saying. Chitra people also have that grace, I observed. The Martian energy, as it is seeing its peak in Dhanishta, that's where this music and dance is manifested very very systematically, rhythmically in these people, right? This group coordination, whenever you see group coordination, that's where you're seeing this rhythm, this Martian energy. It's where you're seeing this nakshatra's energy. See, those in the real estate business, because Mars is real estate and all, athletes, sports, right? Even landscape artists, those who deal in financial transactions, because that all requires some kind of rhythm, that financial transaction. And scientists and physicists, computer professions, warriors and military people, poets, songwriters and reciters of rhythmical any kind of rhythms and all this makers of musical instruments, that's all, these are all they require some rhythm. As Martian energy is not just Martian energy, it has some rhythm. That's where it's passion basically. It has some passionate movements, you know. That rhythm and that passion is something like materialized and forming the bodies of these people, you know. The Chitra people and this, especially this Dhanishta people. And anything anywhere you find rhythm and all, even astrologers you find the Dhanishta astrologers, they have some kind of grace. And anywhere, even the psychic channelers, you know, they should also do it with lot of rhythm that requires coordination with the universal energies. And any kind of healing through Kundalini yoga, because that requires that channeling, that requires that rhythm, that requires orchestrating the energies. And even if you see in the lower level of energies, even the surgeons, medical practitioners, you know, they also, but there it is acting in the physical level. It's something like it's very tangible level, so that's a kind of low level, you can say. But it is also required for the world. It's very much required, especially in the age of Kali. So surgeons and medical practitioners, professions involving high-tech devices and electronic equipment, professions requiring versatility and multiple task ability, multitasking, managers in general. This multitasking has that rhythm, that has that orchestration. That's where this energy is very much required. And the immense versatility of this nakshatra allows it to be involved in all types of professions, if you want to, really ask me. Then, yeah, anywhere rhythm is required. So generally for Dhanishta people, you know, they're we need to check the 10th Lord, for which they are very much suitable. But wherever some rhythm is required, they are good, they're graceful. And the places also, wherever you see some music and dance, the school, if somewhere in the school studio or in somewhere in the photo studio or very anywhere, if you find that music and dance going on, that's all, you know, even dance hall, music hall, that's all Dhanishta energy only. Even meditation rooms, that requires some kind of coordination, rhythm. Basically it is rhythm. That rhythm you can see in the tangible form in music and dance. That's why we are quoting them at the first place. But otherwise, wherever you see some rhythm, that is Dhanishta energy only, right? As it even gardens, flower gardens, if you see, there's some kind of rhythm is added, let us say, there, that is also Dhanishta. When science labs, they have some rhythm, they need some rhythm coordination, right? Then that is also Dhanishta. Factories with high-tech equipment and producing high-tech equipment, amusement centers, sports stadiums, any sports stadium that has this Dhanishta energy, because without rhythm that sports stadium cannot be very well maintained, very well organized, right? Financial centers, banks, is also related to Dhanishta. Income tax offices, right, that require some rhythm. So because wealth related also, anywhere you see wealth related, bank or income tax office, or these are all wealth related, because Dhanishta is related to wealth, right? And it is a tamasic nakshatra because of the tamasic planets Mars and Saturn. But it doesn't mean that it is not into very much activity. It's a very active nakshatra also, but finally the energy would be a kind of tamasic, right? um, because this nakshatra is more geared up into this kind of dissolution aspect rather than creation and maintenance, they are actually, uh, you know, noted it as a tamasic nakshatra, and it belongs to ether element in the and also the ether element can mingle and cooperate with all the elements. So this is what gives this nakshatra it's all encompassing quality, just as space and ether pervade everything, right? So this nakshatra lies to keep its horizons as wide as possible. That rhythm, space has some rhythm, right? That space, the universal space has some rhythm. So that is Dhanishta. The ether element is Dhanishta basically. It's a demonic nakshatra. It's treated as a demonic nakshatra because of its relationship with Mars and Saturn. So basically, it is a demonic nakshatra. So it carries an energy which always tries to bring about change in the present. So Dhanishta nakshatra is associated with change in the present. Most godly nakshatras are related to maintaining the status quo. So in the present times, however, the seemingly negative quality of this nakshatra is definitely positive from a universal point of view. So change in the present is what Dhanishta can bring. And it is an upward looking nakshatra in keeping with its natural expansive nature. And this is a nakshatra signifying expansion basically. It has natural expansiveness. It is a movable nakshatra as well. It can bring change in the present. So it relates to traveling and change in all its forms. So this is the reason why some scholars say that this nakshatra does well in foreign countries as well. Because this requires change in the present. It requires traveling to happen. It is mobile and expansive basically. In the age of Kali, Dhanishta is the best nakshatra other than marriage. Except in marriage, of course, Dhanishta 3 is good in marriage as well. So a person with strong influence of Dhanishta is likely to travel a lot and attain success in a foreign land as well. And it relates to the middle 9 days of the lunar month of Shravana. So this period usually corresponds to the month of August in the solar calendar. So Dhanishta is also related to the 8th Tidhi, that is Ashtami, of the waxing and waning phases of the moon's monthly cycle. And the religious rituals and performances you can perform on the day of Dhanishta, and the other activities you can perform on the day of Dhanishta are creative activities in general, especially music, any kind of musical things and dancing related, group activities of all kinds, mega events involving huge crowds like concerts, opening ceremonies, all activities involving splendor, purchasing movable and immovable property, traveling, good for both short trips and long journeys as well. A very movable nakshatra, good for traveling, any kind of traveling. All activities requiring aggression and a proactive attitude. Lending money and all kinds of financial transactions. Meditation and yoga. Gardening. buying new clothes, gemstones, jewelry, favorable for treating diseases and commencing educational ventures, career activities involving fame and recognition, learning how to use high tech equipment and weapons, as all worldly nakshatra. When you talk about Dhanista, you don't talk much about spirituality generally. You talk about worldly achievements. Generally, Dhanista day is treated as an inauspicious day for sexual activity and marriage. Activities of a fixed or restrictive character like giving up old habits. It's not good for giving up whole old habits. If you try to give up an old habit on the day of Dhanista, you may not do so for a long time. It would return. It's not a good time to form new partnerships as well. And homely activities like cleaning, etc. It's if you want to take up the complete home cleaning, a very well home cleaning, mega cleaning, let us say. Better you do not do it on the day of Dhanista. Dealings with people requiring tact, cleverness, and gentleness on the day of Dhanista is not so good because you may do it in some aggressive way only on the day of Dhanista. Dhanista has that aggression involved automatically. The main planetary ruler influencing this nakshatra, the main planetary influences that this nakshatra have, you can say Mars, Saturn, Rahu, and Uranus. Mars being its primary ruler, and of course this nakshatra represents a pinnacle of Martian energy. And consequently, bravery is a quality strongly associated with this nakshatra. So this is the reason why it connects with warriors, weapons, and military personnel. Courage is a prerequisite for a lot of sports as well. You take adventurous sports, you take mountain climbing, all this. This courage is very much required. So this nakshatra finds its expression through people involved in such activities. Saturn's rulership relates to the persevering nature and organizational ability of this nakshatra. It usually sets itself long-term goals, which it's something like, at any cost they will try to fulfill. It likes to fulfill because this nakshatra is all about worldly achievements. Discipline is a key to excelling in any of the creative arts as well. So Dhanista people are generally treated as very much disciplined as well. Dhanista is a nakshatra which finally accomplishes the difficult task of harmonizing the divergent energies of Mars and Saturn as well. Mars and Saturn are natural enemies, but still these divergent energies are harmonized by this nakshatra's energy. See, the Martian energy is at its absolute refinement here, and this is why Dhanista is the pinnacle of Martian energy. It has the wisdom to use energy constructively over time, a quality which brings about all its other good qualities and its ability to gain wealth. So we can see how keeping rhythm while playing drums is a very similar activity. Dhanista understands the rhythm of life, and its capacity to stick to the rhythm or tune makes it reap all the best the universe has to offer. Whenever you talk about Dhanishta, you talk about rhythm a lot. A lot of times you talk about rhythm. And Dhanishta has the wisdom, basically. The kind of wisdom is how to use the energy constructively over time. Because Saturn is a planet which deals with time as well, time, discipline, and all the stuff. Some astrologers equate Saturn with time and Mars with energy. So Dhanishta is the energy, Dhanishta is the planet, is a nakshatra where this Mars and Saturnian energies are a bit balanced. It's something like you know how to use the energy over time, means constructively. But generally, this kind of quality can give success and wealth. And its relationship with Rahu and Uranus connects it with the mass media. So, whenever you talk about Rahu and Rahu and Uranus, you talk about mass media. So, this is why, a lot of top people in the entertainment industry have a strong Dhanista influence in their chart, if you observe. Rahu and Uranus, they're very much connected to this mass media. It likes to make people wealthy and respected in their chosen fields. And in the present day and age, Rahu and Uranus are keys to great success in any field. So, the moment you talk about Dhanishta, you always talk about Rahu and Uranus because that's where this kind of wealth in the present day, wealth is connected to this Dhanishta, Rahu and Uranus. You never talk about Ketu when you talk about Dhanishta. It's not, Dhanishta is not at all related to spirituality, not at all. If some Dhanishta energy, strong Dhanishta energy people is acting like a saint, it's something like, I'm not sure what to say. It's not much about Ketu, it's always about Rahu here. Rahu, Uranus, we talk about wealth, mass wealth, right? So Mars in Capricorn, Mars in Aquarius, Rahu Mars conjunction, Mars Saturn conjunction, right? These are all related to Dhanishta energy only. They act similar to Dhanishta energy. And especially when you have Rahu Mars conjunction or Mars Saturn conjunction, as Rahu Mars conjunction or Mars Saturn conjunction, whenever this conjunction occurs in the nakshatras like Rohini, Mrigashira, Punarvasu, Pushyami, Chitra, Anuradha, Uttara Bhadrapada, they're all carrying the energy similar to Dhanishta. A Rahu Mars Saturn conjunction is also same as Dhanishta energy. See, Moon, Mars, Saturn, Mercury, Venus, and Rahu usually do well in this particular nakshatra. So, because this is all related to Dhanishta energy only, Dhanishta is about as a worldly nakshatra, right? So, these are all worldly planets, worldly achievements. So, Moon, Mars, Saturn, Mercury, Venus, Rahu, these are all good in Dhanishta. Moon and Mars do better in the Capricorn part, while Mercury, Venus, and Rahu do better in the Aquarius part. Saturn's positioning in this nakshatra will make success slow to come and may totally deny marital pleasures as well. So generally speaking, Saturn in Dhanista is not good for marital pleasure. Saturn in Dhanista can make the success very slow also for these people. So Saturn is a bit kind of its own sign. Capricorn is its own sign. Aquarius is its own sign, right? But still, Saturn in Dhanista is not treated very well in the astrological groups. It's not good for marital pleasures. It's not good for giving quick success. It's the success it gives. Saturn, when Saturn is in Dhanista, it gives, but it is very, very slow, you can say. And its sexual animal is a lion. So this nakshatra has a strong connection with the lion, which goes far beyond its sexual preferences. On a sexual plane, this type does not relate well with other nakshatras except the lion or tiger nakshatras like Dhanishta, Chitra, Vishakha, Purva Bhadrapada, right? So, in keeping with its animal, it is not very enthusiastic about sexual activity, even though it might have multiple partners. Is not very enthusiastic about sexual activity. But generally, you may see Dhanishta is associated with multiple partners sometimes, but is not very enthusiastic about sexual activity. And the stars of this nakshatra lie very close to the constellation of Andromeda. In modern astronomy, this Andromeda area is very much famous because a lot of godly and demonic forces are said to reside here only. The eight Vasus which preside over the stars of the other constellation is Delphinus. The eight Vasus are godly in nature. Delphinus is associated with dolphins, the most intelligent and benevolent among all the sea creatures. So this nakshatra shares a lot of its traits with dolphins as well. So, like how you talk about dancing and music when you talk about this particular Dhanishta, you also talk about dolphins. But it looks very, very, because in Vedic times they did not talk much about dolphins. So, but in modern astrology, they are talking about dolphins also a lot when they are talking about Dhanishta energy. And this dolphins have some mysterious smile, and Dhanishta people also have that. So basically, you can say this particular it's this particular nakshatra lies on the borderline between Shiva's and Vishnu's territory, because Capricorn is related to Vishnu and Aquarius is related to Lord Shiva. So from an astrological point of view, it connects the signs of Capricorn and Aquarius. So Capricorn, the natural 10th house, as we know, relates to karma. Aquarius, the 11th house, the natural 11th house, that corresponds to the fruits of karma. So this nakshatra relates to the fulfillment of one's goals, desires and ambitions as a result of good karma from previous births. So this nakshatra relates to the fulfillment of goals, desires and ambitions basically, right? So it is a balancing bridge also between these two energies, the maintenance and dissolution. Maintenance because of, so this nakshatra is acting as a balancing point between the forces of maintenance and destruction. Maintenance is related to Lord Vishnu, whereas destruction is related to Lord Shiva. And if you talk about the number of this nakshatra, is the 23rd nakshatra, and 23 is a number associated with the phrase royal star of the lion. So is obviously you can see this particular nakshatra's energy somehow, to some extent, is related to royal energies. So 23 is a very fortunate number in the numerology. It signifies completion. So both this particular uh, symbolism, the royal star of the lion and also the completion, is do also associated with lot of, it's associated with a lot of worldly achievements basically. And this nakshatra is related to the sage Angirasa, so one of the seven celestial sages looking after the affairs of our galaxy. So the name of the sage translates to the fiery one, which is in keeping with the Martian aspect of this nakshatra. And for those who are suffering from the bad effects resulting from afflictions to this nakshatra, the best remedial measure is worshipping of lion riding goddess Durga, or Harihara, means some half Vishnu and half Shiva form. See, alternatively, one can worship the eight Vasus. The practice of Raja Yoga, which involves the rising of the Kundalini through the seven sacred centers, is one of the best ways to utilize this nakshatra's potential. And repetition of the root mantras of this nakshatra, Om Yam and Om Ram, 108 times when moon transits this nakshatra and its corresponding lunar month, right, is a sure way to reduce suffering and bring enlightenment into the native's life. It's very much recommended when a malefic planet is sitting in the Dhanishta nakshatra, as Om Yam and Om Ram 108 times. And persons who are benefiting from the positive energy of this nakshatra can also increase the good effects by reciting this mantra. And better they wear colors like red, especially the people, not especially, the people who are having good energy of Dhanishta. When a good planet is sitting in the nakshatra, Dhanishta nakshatra, it's very helpful for them to wear colors like red, blue and gold. They should use its directions, lunar month and the days when moon transits Dhanishta to undertake any kind of important action in their life. And if you see the life of Bhishma, so when you talk about Dhanishta, you also talk about this particular personality as Bhishma. See, the life of Bhishma, one of the major characters in the Vedic epic Mahabharata, exemplifies the functionings of Dhanishta. See, he took and observed the vow of lifelong celibacy and was unconquerable in the battle, was generous even to his competitors, and showed immaculate courage till his last breath. So Bhishma has Dhanishta, a lot of Dhanishta energy, you can say. And even if you see some famous personalities in the history like Marilyn Monroe, right, famous model and actress, has her moon in the Dhanishta nakshatra only. So the kind of grace that she has is very much associated with Dhanishta energy. And according to Varaha Mihira, a people having moon in Dhanishta makes a person liberal, brave, rich, and adept at music and other fine arts. So, according to Varaha Mihira, Dhanishta is not only about dancing and music, it is about all varieties of fine arts. Those who know about Marilyn Monroe can see that her life fits in perfectly with the description that Varaha Mihira gave. See, she was more intelligent and learned than her public image portrayed and was said to have liberal views. She even married people who were at the top of their respective fields, right? See, her moon is in the first pada of this particular nakshatra in Capricorn, which, as we know, right, is not very good for marital harmony. So that's where. And that too, if you observe very clearly, the moon is sitting in her seventh house in the Dhanishta Capricorn part, right? So seventh house is related to public image and relationship with the masses. So she definitely utilized Dhanishta's charm to become uh, a very mass sex symbol, you can say. And her famous smile and heavy alluring eyelids, these are all Dhanishta's energy, the captivating facial expression, right? This is all Dhanishta's grace. But Dhanishta, it's something like it's not good for marital harmony. So she had two unsuccessful marriages, right? Even some unsatisfying affairs. So Dhanishta is not so good for marital harmony. That's where the moon in the seventh house of this Dhanishta part, right, the Capricorn part, is not so good for her life, right? And because it is in the seventh house, right, you can see the impact. So thanks for watching this video. In our next video we'll try to understand the 24th nakshatra, that is Shatabhisha, right, the heart of Aquarius. Thanks for watching this video.